Before the whistle blows, before the final bell, there is a conversation. It's a language understood by every stadium, on every street corner. It's a moment your heart beats with a million others. It's a roar of a crowd, the silence of anticipation. It's a triumphant cry of a champion. It's more than a game, it's a connection.
Pakistan TV speaks to the world.
From the vibrant colors and cultures of South Asia to its voices of resilience and progress. Every story carries a lesson for the world. To the crossroads of Central Asia, where ancient Silk Road is now a highway of trade, ideas and possibilities for the future. The challenges and hopes of the Middle East and North Africa, a region where the past still speaks. And the future is being written every single day. And the ideas shaping the West. Innovation, diplomacy, and the power to influence global change. The future is not limited by boundaries, it's defined beyond borders. Join me on this very journey only on Pakistan TV.
Set fire to the Karachi.
In a world where drama sells and facts fall silent.
Asad in this also. When war becomes theater, truth becomes casualty.
Nuclear red lines of Pakistan have been destroyed. We'll break your teeth.
One voice refuses to play along.
We have won the war, but we want peace. So the lesson is that we have to sit down on the table like peaceful neighbors and settle our outstanding issues, including Jammu and Kashmir.
We don't dramatize. We verify.
India has never denied that several of its jets were shot down by Pakistan. So, I think it's true.
Pakistan TV speaks to the world.
Narendra Modi and his associates have turned India into an extremist Hindu state. On one side, the oppressed Kashmiris are facing genocide, and on the other, minority communities living in India are enduring state-sponsored terrorism. The biggest target of this oppression is the Muslim population of India. To secure its political interests, the Modi government is fueling the flames of religious terrorism and sectarianism across the country.
Muslims are beaten and murdered in public places, including at mosques, with no protection from police. There are open calls for murder and actual genocide of Muslims. Journalists and human rights defenders are silenced through harassment, arrests, detentions, and prosecution, including through the National Security Act and laws against sedition and presumed unlawful activities.
Today's India has been turned into a living hell for minorities. Muslims, Christians, and other minority groups are not only being subjected to physical violence but are also being deprived of their religious rights. The RSS-backed Narendra Modi and his allies have only one goal: to establish complete Hindu dominance over Indian soil, aiming to eliminate all other minorities. To achieve this objective, they have now fixed their eyes on Israel, believing that if Netanyahu can carry out the massacre of Palestinian Muslims and still manage to escape consequences, then India can follow the same path.
I've traveled extensively in India. I've been in Gujarat. I've visited Bhuj and Mandi. I've seen the market in Bhuj where Muslims were massacred. I've seen destroyed mosques. And I tell you this, Modi and the BJP are watching very closely to see what Netanyahu gets away with. And the next genocide of Muslims could well be in India.
The renowned Indian writer and human rights activist Arundhati Roy, while making a comparison between Israel and India, stated that both countries, despite claiming to be democracies, are using military power not only to occupy the lands of other nations but also to commit genocide against their people.
Well, there are parallels. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, that these countries that claim to be democracies are running these military or militarized occupations and a kind of different set of rules. You can call it apartheid, certainly you can call it that in Gaza and the West Bank, but in Kashmir it's not so clear, but that is how it is practiced. I mean, not just in Kashmir, in India, if you are a Muslim, the law applies to you differently, you know. It is not declared, it's undeclared, but that is how it is. But there are similarities and there are very unique differences. What is worrying, I think, is that all these big, great leaders are watching what Netanyahu can get away with in Gaza. Yeah. And everyone's going to learn and take lessons from it. Everyone is not just saying, oh, it's a terrible thing. Others are saying, hey, if they can do it, why not us?
On one hand, the existence of all minorities in India, especially Muslims, remains under constant threat, while on the other, India is continuously increasing its military presence in Kashmir in order to strengthen its occupation and to intensify the genocide of Kashmiris. The international community must take concrete measures to put an end to India's state terrorism in Kashmir, its violation of minority rights, and the ongoing genocide of Muslims.
The destiny of a person is determined by their efforts.
You are watching Pakistan TV. Here with the news of this hour, I am Khanma Muhyiddin. Let's take a look at the headlines. Hamas releases 7 Israeli prisoners as Palestinian prisoners boarded buses in first such exchange ahead of Gaza Peace Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh today, to be attended by over 20 world leaders. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif departs for Egypt on the special invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to participate in the Peace Summit and the signing ceremony of a peace agreement aimed at ending the prevailing grave situation in Gaza. Talking to media on board the Air Force One aircraft while departing for the Middle U.S. President Trump arrives in Israel. Pakistan condemns Afghan Taliban attacks and vows strong response and calls on the Taliban regime to crack down on the terrorist elements operating from Afghan soil while denouncing cross-border aggression. The second day of the first cricket test between Pakistan and South Africa is underway. As Pakistan chose to bat first, Pakistan were 313 for 5 wickets at the end of day 1. We have a landmark peace treaty in the making and cross-border tensions. Here on Pakistan TV, we will discuss all of that, so stay with us. Now for the news in detail. Israel has taken custody of its 7 captives released by Hamas by Palestinian prisoners boarded buses in first such exchange ahead of landmark International Gaza Summit in Egypt. The prisoner exchange comes as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan for Gaza. After the exchange, Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will co-chair the summit in the Red Sea resort town of Sharm el-Sheikh. Trump's lightning visit to Israel and Egypt aims to celebrate his role in brokering last week's ceasefire hostage exchange deal, but comes next speaking to reporters on board Air Force One at the start of what he called a very special visit. Trump brushed off concerns about the durability of the truce. He said of the fighting, "I think it's going to hold. I think people are tired of it. It's been centuries. The war is over, okay? You understand that," said the U.S. President Donald Trump. We've been joined by Ahmed Mustafa, Director of the Center Asia Study. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot for giving me this honor just to make my comments and my insights concerning, this historical summit that is taking place right now and the matter of the swap of the captives between the two sides, Hamas and the Zionist entity.
I wanted your opinion on the matter. This is the question on everyone's minds. Will this ceasefire hold?
I think this time there is some sort of seriosity from both sides, especially the guarantors, because the people most of the time asking the guarantors. And here, according to the leaks and the information that I got as an analyst in this regard, the 4 countries that are guarantors, I mean the hosting country, my country, Egypt, of course, the United States, Donald Trump, because he wants, as we discussed several times before, to achieve some of his, goals and objectives. He already promised his voters in the United States, and he has a lot of local and geopolitical problems with other rivals, including, the matter of Gaza and, the fueling of the war, the fueling of Israel in this regard, because Israel got more than 50 billion of US dollars in terms of weapons, in terms of support for its war versus Gaza via the past 2 years. Also, Doha, Qatar and Turkey as both Arab and Islamic countries, with Egypt in this regard as mediators, and both they represent the friends of the United States. Turkey is a part of the NATO and also one of the strongest countries in the region. The good thing that the two parties in conflict, they were not invited. Hamas or Israel side, according to the leaks from the Israeli side, as well as the Palestinian Authority, because I think there was a wisdom in this regard, because they don't like any conflict or any future stipulations and so on. And they want to make this, fait accompli against both sides, just to put an end and just to restore, the stability in the region after, as you said, 2 years of conflict with a lot of destruction, a lot of instability, a lot of bad economic situation for all the peoples who are living, and worldwide, because we are all agreed in Egypt and in Pakistan worldwide concerning, what's going on of the conflicts in that respect.
Now, Dr. Mustafa, I wanted your opinion. What makes this ceasefire different? What are the mechanisms in place that will make sure that there is no violation of this deal?
The leaks of Trump since yesterday and this morning, and the matter of not to invite any of the parties of the conflict. Also, as I told you, America itself, they are tiring from a lot of things and a lot of criticism, and the falling of the ethical, cover via supporting directly Israel in several issues, including and not limited to Gaza, because they already supported Israel in attacking Iran, as well as attacking, Qatar, one of its allies, as well, and one of its funders in this regard, over one of its great reprisals I did in Doha itself. Therefore, America found that it was, and we heard to several, experts from the United States and people in the opposition, like Hillary Clinton, Jeffrey Sachs, and others, who said that it was the most stupid action from Israel, supported by America, to attack Qatar in this regard, as well as the matter of, the members of the flotilla members, those guys who came just to pick the blockade against Gaza in a humanitarian way, and they were only civilians and having such humanitarian aids, and the maltreatment and captivating that already suffered from them via the Zionist entity. Therefore, all of that should be changed. And if Israel wants to be like a normal state amid the Arab and the Islamic countries, they should express a good intention or bona fides in this regard, because unfortunately via the last century, they already or they submitted only or expressed only the mal intentions and the conflicts and things like that. Therefore, we need to take a deep breath in this time being. And I think all the presidents who are joining this summit, including and not limited to His Excellency Shahbaz Sharif, they have the same target and they have the same objective, because we need a peace, we need a more prosperity, we need a stability, because that will move our countries ahead in the coming, difficult times according to these economic rifts and so on. Therefore, we should put all the conflicting parties, as I told you, in a status of fait accompli, just to accept this matter. And also, we have the 3 phases that I have to speak about. The first phase already was done, and we are at the end of it concerning the swap of the captives and the hostages between the two. And I heard that, and even you said that around 7 to 7 started to be replaced by each other party this early morning, coinciding with the summit, just to make it viable before the global audience in this regard, bearing in mind that Hamas, they have around 2,250 of the highly caliber persona and the people who are having like life, imprisonment sentence, as well as other 1,700, the people who were captive by the Israeli side since the 7th of October. By the contrary, Israel having around 50, around 20, 22 are alive, and the other they are dead. This is one of maybe that may make a problem because some of the bodies were decayed, and even Trump, he said there will be some sort of technical problems concerning how to restore the dead captives from Hamas side, because Hamas also, they know the sites of those captives, dead captives, and I think it's going to be one of the pressure cards for Hamas in this regard. Yes.
Dr. Ahmed, we saw the world rise in the face of Israeli tyranny, especially the Muslim world. Do you think the pressure from the Muslim nations helped in facilitating this coming ceasefire? Especially Pakistan, I would like to add.
Yes, because after the Doha Urgent Arab and Islamic Summit, even from a country like Pakistan, I think yes, because we found first, having ratified this defense agreement between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. This is one issue. Also, the strong stance of His Excellency Shahbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I have a deep tribute to him this morning. At the UNGA also, he has a strong stance and joined Egypt and the other Arab and Islamic countries, I mean Turkey, Qatar, Indonesia in that respect. Also, he supports all the steps of Egypt and the mediators from the Arab and Islamic countries in this regard, and will join. I'm joining, and I heard that he came yesterday afternoon to Egypt just to, join the summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. Therefore, Pakistan presenting, positive steps in this regard, and we appreciate so much, the role of Pakistan in this regard, the role of Pakistan in the D8, the Islamic developing 8 countries. Pakistan, one of them, and we attended the last summit in Cairo that was in December. And we have now a lot of talks about increasing, the trade and, the media and so on. And also, I'm here this morning via the Pakistani TV. That means a kind of media cooperation in that respect. And I hope the tensions that are taking place right now between Pakistan and Afghanistan being, settled via the wise diplomacy, because both they are strong countries in the Islamic world, and we should get the benefit of them, not to have such kind of, conflicts. I pray for both of them just to settle such conflicts and via the wise diplomacy solving this issue very, very soon.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Ahmed Mustafa, Director of Center Studies. Now, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif has departed for Sharm el-Sheikh on the special invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Fattah el-Sisi. The Prime Minister will participate in the signing ceremony of the Gaza ceasefire agreement alongside President Trump, President al-Sisi, the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Turkish President Erdogan, and other world leaders. The peace summit in Sharm el-Sheikh is the result of efforts by President Trump, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, and Arab Islamic leaders on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly aimed at achieving a ceasefire in Gaza. Pakistan's participation highlights its support for Palestinian rights and its commitment to political and diplomatic efforts. Islamabad hopes the agreement will end violence, ensure Israeli withdrawal, facilitate the safe return of Palestinians, secure the release of prisoners, and pave the way for Gaza's reconstruction. Pakistan also reaffirms its call for lasting peace in the Middle East and establishment of an independent Palestinian state based on pre-1967 borders with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital in accordance with the United Nations resolutions. Now, the U.S. President Trump arrives in Israel before heading for Gaza peace talks in Egypt. Speaking on board Air Force Ones, the U.S. president said the ceasefire would hold and a board of peace would quickly be set up for Gaza, which he said looked like a demolition site. Trump is scheduled to meet Israeli leaders, address the Israeli Knesset today, and after which he will fly to Egypt to co-chair a summit on the Gaza ceasefire. Earlier, former Ambassador Johar Salim shared his views in Pakistan TV show World This Morning program. Let's take a look what he had to say.
This occasion, of course, is, it's full of great significance because after 2 years of carnage that we have seen, an unprecedented level of not just violence, but sort of, really a travesty of all human values in Gaza, where we saw 70,000 people losing their lives, 2/3 of them women and children. We've seen 90% of Gaza turning into rubble. We've seen situation with no food, no electricity, no water, no healthcare, no school, no basic amenities of life at all. So it is really very auspicious. I think the entire world has taken a sigh of relief that those 2.2 million people, which had been basically literally between life and death, they will be finally rescued. At least they will get the relief and sustenance that they desperately require. That's one thing. The other thing is that, okay, this fighting between Hamas and Israel, as it stops, that's a phase one. Hamas releases all the remaining hostages that they have, which are about 48 in numbers. 20 of them are alive. The rest are dead bodies, of course. On the other hand, Israelis are set to release 2,000 of Palestinian prisoners. 250 of those prisoners were basically facing life sentences, while the others had been arrested during this conflict. So that is the first phase. The first phase is likely to probably possibly go smoothly. But after that, the next phases are going to be very challenging.
UN agencies have urged Israel to immediately open all border crossings into Gaza and lift restrictions on UNRWA to facilitate unobstructed delivery of humanitarian aid into the war-torn enclave. UNRWA Director Communications Juliet Thomas said that the agency currently has enough food supplies to feed the entire population in Gaza for 3 months, which is crucial for addressing the famine that has emerged in the region. She reiterated the call for Israel to lift the ban on UNRWA to help alleviate the famine in Gaza. Israel's ban on the UN aid agency officially took effect on January 30th, terminating all cooperation, communication, and contact with the agency. The government of Pakistan has reaffirmed its unwavering support for the people of Palestine by dispatching another major humanitarian aid consignment through the National Disaster Management Authority. A special flight carrying 100 tons of essential relief items departed from Lahore, destined to assist the Palestinian brothers and sisters in Gaza. The relief goods include flour, rice, ready meals, corn, and other food items. Now, dozens of aid trucks are seen queuing at the Kerem Shalom crossing after Israel opened the border to Gaza. The ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appeared to be holding as thousands of Palestinians continue to travel towards Gaza City. According to the ceasefire agreement, humanitarian aid will be ramped up into Gaza and Gazans will be permitted to travel freely between North and South Gaza on the main roads. Hundreds of trucks per day are expected to surge into Gaza carrying food and medical aid. Pakistan has expressed deep concern over the recent aggression by the Afghan Taliban and associated terrorist groups Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna-e-Hindustan along the Pak-Afghan border on the 9th of 11th and 12th October. Pakistan described the unprovoked attacks as an attempt to destabilize the border region. Pakistan emphasized that such actions undermine the spirit of peaceful and cooperative relations between the two neighboring countries. Exercising its right to self-defense, Pakistan repulsed the assaults effectively, inflicting heavy losses on Taliban forces and affiliated militants. The targeted response was precise, aimed at neutralizing terrorist infrastructure used for planning attacks against Pakistan, while minimizing collateral damage and protecting civilians. Pakistan reiterated its commitment to dialogue and diplomacy with Afghanistan, but warned that any further provocations would be met with a firm and appropriate response. Pakistan also rejected claims by the interim Afghan foreign minister in India, which sought to divert attention from the presence of terrorist elements operating from Afghan soil. Highlighting reports from the United Nations monitoring team, Pakistan accused the Taliban regime of failing to control terrorist groups within Afghanistan, urging it to honor commitments not to allow its territory to be used for attacks on other countries. Pakistan expects concrete and verifiable actions against groups like Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna Hindustan. Emphasizing its long-standing support for Afghan refugees, Pakistan stressed its intent to regulate Afghan nationals on its soil in accordance with international laws. Pakistan reiterated its vision for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Afghanistan and called on the Afghan regime to act responsibly and contribute constructively towards regional peace and the elimination of terrorism. Now we've been joined by Agha Ikrar Haroon. Welcome to Pakistan TV.
Thank you.
Now this is a very grave situation. We see that there is a nexus forming between India after a failed Bunyān-e-Marsoos, their failed Operation Sindoor, and a successful Operation Bunyān-e-Marsoos. Now they're using Afghanistan as a proxy. What do you think this is doing for regional stability and peace?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me be very candid. This nexus is not being formed just now. It was formed, years ago, when TTP was formed in 2006. And Afghan Taliban officially, this is on record, officially accepted TTP and sealed the Amarat of Mullah Fazlullah as a TTP Amir, who was the staunch and very, very ruthless enemy of Pakistan. So this is not the new development. Yes, you can say the funding of India has been intensified after we gave a dust-licking defeat to India in Margar Haq. You are absolutely right. But this, you can say this nexus is very old, almost 20 years old. And I had been working inside Afghanistan as a war correspondent during the 1995 to 97. And I have reason to believe even that time, they were in contact with the Indian RAW. And as a journalist, I had been writing on that, but people couldn't understand and couldn't, trust journalists like me. I was not the only one. So this is very old. And India had always used Afghan governments against Pakistan historically.
Right. We've seen a very swift response from Pakistan. However, it was a limited response. Would it be fair to say that Pakistan is demonstrating its efforts in regional peace, but also sovereignty and solidarity, like on the ground?
You're absolutely right. Pakistan is the only security stabilizer in the region, because in the region we have two, evils. One is India, and second is this Afghan government. Taliban government particularly. They want to destabilize, and they are trying their level best to destabilize this region. And Pakistan is the only component over there which is working as a stabilizer. And you just before taking me in discussion, you was talking about and telling people about Pakistan's Foreign Office statement. That again says that we restrain. We always believe in democracy and we always believe in diplomacy. But unfortunately, in the Afghan interim government side, there is no diplomacy and there is no democracy. And they had been using terrorism as their diplomatic leverage.
We see that Pakistan has hosted the Afghanis for over 4 decades. What of the Pakistan hospitality? How was it answered back? Like, what does it say about our Afghani neighbors? How have they responded to our hospitality all these years?
This is very unfortunate. What I can say, this is up to them. We had been hosting them not as a, you can say, guest, rather as our friend. And we had a concept of Ansar and Muhajirin, which was based on the Islamic history. And I still remember Pakistani people used to share even their last bread with the Afghan Muhajirin, stating that he or she is very unfortunate and they had to leave their country. We had been very cooperative, very friendly, provided everything, and I unfortunately even sacrificed and compromised our own security, our social fabrics, our economy. But whatever the Afghan government is giving to us, it is up to you. Look, in all 40 years, Afghan people living in Pakistan, they did not respect or adopt Pakistan social fabric. They are against this Indus Valley civilization historically. So they have not been, you can say, gelled into us. They have always been following their own traditions, because they are very firm about that. Our traditions are not their traditions. So living in 40 years, they psychologically did not accept us. And historically, they had never accepted Indus Valley civilization. So these are the, things every anthropologist can understand. And I believe that this is time to everybody should understand this. They are not from us. We were bound. Historically not. They were always the invaders in Pakistan, or today's Pakistan. They had always been invader. They always came with chaos, and we always provided them a peace and a shelter. This is history. You cannot, the world has again observed the readiness of our forces. We were very instant when the aggression came from the Afghan border, like the aggression came from the Indian border. We were giving both of them, both arch friends of our West and East, we have given them what should have been done. And they both had to understand the next time when they will think about Pakistan Army, they should think twice.
Thank you so much for your insights, Sir Agha Iqrar Haroon. Now, Pakistan Army thwarted a major cross-border attack by Afghan Taliban and Indian-sponsored Fitna al-Khawarij and killed over 200 terrorists in a decisive response. More details in this report by Fatima Alvi.
The cowardly action, which included fire and few physical raids, was aimed at destabilizing the border areas to facilitate terrorism, furthering FAK's nefarious designs. Exercising the right of self-defense, the alert armed forces of Pakistan repelled the assault decisively all along the border and inflicted heavy casualties on Taliban forces and affiliated Khawarij. Precision fires and strikes as well as physical raids were directed against Taliban camps and posts, terrorist training facilities and support networks operating from Afghan territory, including elements linked to Fitna al-Khawarij, Fitna al-Hindustan and Daesh. All possible measures were taken to avoid collateral damage and to protect civilian lives. As a result of these unrelenting operations, multiple Taliban locations were destroyed all along the border. 21 hostile positions of the Afghan side of border were also briefly physically captured, and multiple terrorist training camps used to plan and facilitate attacks against Pakistan were rendered inoperative. During the overnight skirmishes, 23 brave sons of Pakistan embraced Shahadat while defending territorial integrity of our beloved country against this outrageous action, while 29 soldiers were injured. According to credible intelligence estimates and damage assessment, more than 200 Taliban and affiliated terrorists have been neutralized, while the number of injured is much higher. The infrastructural damages to Taliban posts, camps, headquarters and support networks of terrorists are extensive all along the border and range from tactical to operational depth. According to ISPR, the armed forces of Pakistan remain ever ready to protect the territorial integrity, life and property of the people of Pakistan. Our resolve to defend Pakistan's territorial integrity and to defeat those who threaten our security is unwavering. While the people of Pakistan prefer constructive diplomacy and dialogue over violence, and we will not tolerate the treacherous use of Afghan soil for terrorism against Pakistan. We have noted with concern that this serious provocation has occurred during the visit of Taliban Foreign Minister to India, the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the region. In the interest of regional peace and security, we call upon the Taliban government to take immediate and verifiable actions to neutralize the terrorist groups. In the interest of regional peace and security, we call upon the Taliban government to take immediate and verifiable actions to neutralize the terrorist groups inter alia FAK, FAH and Daesh operating from their territory. Otherwise, Pakistan will continue to exercise its right to defend its people by persistent neutralization of terror targets. The Taliban government should shun any ill-begotten notions and prioritize well-being, peace, prosperity and development of Afghan people over irresponsible saber-rattling. Last night episodes vindicates Pakistan's long-standing position that Taliban government is actively facilitating the terrorists. If the Taliban government continues to sponsor terrorist outfits in cahoots with India for short-sighted objective of destabilizing the region, the people and the state of Pakistan will not rest until the menace of terrorism emanating from Afghanistan is completely eliminated. Fatima Alvi, Pakistan TV.
News here will continue on Pakistan TV. Up next with Ali Ahmed. Stay tuned.
Do facts matter?
Yes.
Does truth matter?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're talking about India hitting Islamabad.
पाकिस्तान का कोई इलाका और कोई शहर बचा नहीं है.
They have lost 2 JF-17 fighter jets.
Having faced the destruction of 5 of their aircraft,
these are the French-made fighter jets. Pakistan should take pride in the fact that they were able to shoot them down.
I said, that's not good. That's a lot of jets, $150 million planes were shot down.
Facts and truth. From Pakistan to you.
Pakistan TV speaks to the world.
TV speaks to the world.
Before the whistle blows, before the final bell, there is a conversation. It's a language understood by every stadium, on every street corner. It's a moment your heart beats with a million others. It's the roar of a crowd, the silence of anticipation. It's a triumphant cry of a champion. It's more than a game, it's a connection.
TV speaks to the world.
In a world where drama sells and facts fall silent.
Asad in this also. When war becomes theater, truth becomes casualty.
Nuclear red lines of Pakistan have been destroyed. We'll break your teeth.
One voice refuses to play along.
We have won the war, but we want peace. So the lesson is that we have to sit down on the table like peaceful neighbors and settle our outstanding issues, including Jammu and Kashmir.
We don't dramatize.
We verify.
India has never denied that several of its jets were shot down by Pakistan. So, I think it's true.
TV speaks to the world.
Welcome back. Now joining you for more news, I am Ali Ahmed. And getting back to the news bulletin, Pakistan has expressed deep concern of the recent aggression by the Afghan Taliban and the associated terrorist groups, Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna Hindustan, along the Pak-Afghan border on the night of 11th and 12th of October. Now, Pakistan described these unprovoked attacks as the attempts to destabilize the border region, and Pakistan emphasized that such actions undermine the spirit of the peaceful and cooperative relations between the two neighboring countries. Now, for more insights, we have been joined by defense analyst, Brigadier Retired Nadir Mir. Thank you so much for your time with Pakistan TV. And of course, Pakistan has expressed its grave concern regarding the skirmishes that have taken place between both the neighboring countries. How do you see the entire situation?
This is part of Afghanistan's joining India against Pakistan in an overt fashion. That is, previously, while India was fighting Pakistan openly, as in May 2025, when it was beaten and disgraced, Afghanistan was using terrorism and denying it. But now it has become clear that Afghanistan, that is Kabul, the present regime, is full partner to Delhi in the war against Pakistan. So this is the real situation which Pakistan is facing, and it calls for a geopolitical answer. This is not about destabilizing Pakistan. The Kabul regime has issued maps showing half of Pakistan as part of Afghanistan, which they call Greater Afghanistan. And India, of course, is also coveting parts of Pakistan, that is Azad, Jammu and Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, and other parts. And so this is a joint war, and Pakistan has to be ready for this two-front war. Pakistan, for its part, over the last 50 years, has been supportive of Afghanistan in every way, and it has been supporting the present Kabul regime since they came into power at all global forums. And in fact, Pakistan has been its defender, while others accused the Taliban regime of terrorism and women's rights exploitation and everything else under the sun. It has been Pakistan who has been the advocate and defender of the present Afghan regime. So if the Afghan regime had decided to join India against Pakistan, then Pakistan has no choice but to defend itself, even as Pakistan wants peace, both with India and with Afghanistan and Pakistan's leadership. political military leadership. I myself have been proposing peace all the time, that is in the Middle East, with India, and of course we have always been at peace with Afghanistan. So the war is of Afghanistan's choosing. In this recent skirmish, as you call it, Pakistan has given a befitting reply, but that is not enough. Pakistan needs to have permanent deterrence against threats emanating from Kabul or any kind of border skirmishing or war or this terrorist courage which they have been unleashing periodically and repeatedly against Pakistan. And it has to end. So Pakistan has to reply to this and make sure that there is no two-front scenario and the regime in Kabul changes its policy, comes to peace, and if it does not, well, the world already doesn't recognize this regime, by the way. You know, so many countries recently, Russia, Iran, and Pakistan and others, and China, have been talking of peace and finishing terrorism in Afghanistan. But if the Afghan regime doesn't come or doesn't heed the global voice, well, then there is no choice for Pakistan but to make sure, along with other countries, that a government in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, that is Kabul, is there which wants peace in the region and not war in the region.
Right, absolutely. And we also witnessed the speech of DGISPR, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry, a few days back, in which he categorically mentioned about the nefarious role of Afghanistan and India both. We know that this attack is coming at a time when the interim Afghan foreign minister was in India, and Pakistan also rejected the claims that were made by the interim Afghan foreign minister while he was in India, which sought to divert the attention from the presence of the terrorist elements operating from the Afghan soil. So, your comment, please.
First of all, Pakistan has to change its Afghan policy. The Pakistan-Afghan policy as of date, and for that, all the government officials of Pakistan, the Foreign Office, have been bending backwards, trying to appease the Afghans and trying to help them and trying to defend them globally when they were being accused by the entire world on every score. It has been Pakistan which has been doing that, and that is no longer possible because the world is right. The regime in Kabul is projecting itself for what it is, launching an unprovoked terror war against Pakistan in sync with India. This is first. So you have to change your policy, which Pakistan tried in good, for the sake of peace. And that was a major effort Pakistan has done for so long. This is the first thing. And the second thing is that other countries are already on board. Nobody wants terrorism in Afghanistan. And for this, Pakistan has to join with other countries globally. You know, the Chinese don't want it, the Russians don't want terrorism in Afghanistan, the Iranians don't want, the Americans don't want. The Americans were in Afghanistan for 20 years. Basically, they came because of this terrorist reason. I mean, that was the real basic reason why this war took place, that occupation of Afghanistan by the Americans and the NATO. So Pakistan needs to coordinate, consult, and make sure that there's a global consensus and the regime in Kabul changes its policy towards peace. Pakistan wants peace. All these countries want peace. And even the other countries who are not directly neighbors of Afghanistan, they also want peace. And if it doesn't happen, then there has to be a regime there which wants peace, and this is a global requirement. It is not only Pakistan's requirement, but Pakistan has to defend and make sure its national security is not threatened, and least of all by this Indian-sponsored two-front war scenario. That is, India got beaten in May 2025, and so it's trying to activate the western front of Pakistan so that Pakistan is sandwiched between an eastern and western front. Pakistan will not allow that to happen, and it will make sure that the policy of Kabul changes for peace and not for conflict.
Right. Brigadier Retired Nadir Mir Saab, thank you so much for your time with Pakistan TV, the defense analyst, who talked about the Afghan and Pakistan skirmishes that have taken place and the strange ties between both the neighboring countries. And of course, Pakistan being the proponent of peace and stability, Pakistan has always emphasized upon the fact that peace in Afghanistan is imperative. And of course, without peace in Afghanistan, the peace cannot be achieved in the wider South Asian region. Now, moving on further, earlier expressing his views in Pakistan TV's program World this morning, Lieutenant General Retired Raza Muhammad Khan expressed his views. Let's take a listen to him.
I think I'd like to begin by saying that our response to the recent Afghan aggression was as usual, befitting, yet measured and very effective. And Alhamdulillah, I think the whole world has seen it. India has seen it. Afghanistan has seen it. The Taliban and all their affiliates have seen it. And at the same time, I'd like to add that as a nation, we highly value and laud the valiant efforts of our armed forces, backed by the people, to repel this unprovoked aggression. We salute and are particularly grateful to the soldiers and families of all those who sacrificed their lives or were injured while defending Pakistan. We overwhelmed the Taliban and their affiliates who were armed with abandoned NATO wherewithal worth over $8 billion. And I think with all the support of India and also their sponsors, so we have sent very clear messages to all of them that it doesn't matter, really what they're armed with, against the indomitable will, high motivation, grit, and gravitas of the armed forces and the people of Pakistan, and that we shall continue to resolutely respond, to all such acts of aggression, whether they are from any government or they are from terrorists, and that our response should be based and will be based at the time, place of our own choosing, and that is our right given to us by the United Nations Security Council Resolution, Article 51. And I think we have communicated to India, to Afghanistan, and to the rest of the world that the defense of Pakistan is impregnable, and that we still are a peace-loving people. And of course, we are going to send a message to the government of Afghanistan that in future our foreign policy.
Now, talking about the Indian media, it is once again active with its lies and propaganda amid the Pakistan and Afghanistan tensions. It is churning out the fake videos through AI to achieve its nefarious designs. The Indian media had declared Adil Davar, a resident of the North Waziristan, a martyr. However, this proved false as Adil Davar himself rejected the claims in a video message. Adil Davar said he was a political and social worker from North Waziristan, and the Indian media had aired his picture created with the help of artificial intelligence technology. He said he is shown wearing the uniform through AI and introduced as a major. Adil Davar went on to say that the Indian media was airing his fake picture and claiming that he had been martyred on the Pak-Afghan border. He said India's fake propaganda against Pakistan is an insult to the journalism and journalistic principles. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump, on his way to Middle East trip, said that he has heard about the recent border clashes between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Talking to the correspondents on board the plane, he said that he is good in stopping wars and making peace. Now, Trump said that he would look into the latest war on return from the Middle East and also referred to his role to end the war between nuclear-armed rivals, Pakistan and India, by using the U.S. trade leverage. As Afghan Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi visits Pakistan's arch rival India, the timing of the Kabul's aggression appears anything but accidental. Now, it signals a coordinated political maneuver laying bare the emerging Afghanistan-India nexus. Now, during Amir Khan Muttaqi's visit to New Delhi, anti-Pakistan rhetoric is being elevated into joint declarations, a move that further underscores the growing alignment between India and Afghanistan to destabilize Pakistan. More details by Musharraf Zahoor. Let's have a look.
Afghanistan's attack is not a coincidence but a deliberate and hostile signal that needs to be fully understood. It comes at a time when Kabul's top diplomat Muttaqi is visiting New Delhi and issuing anti-Pakistan statements. The attack from Afghanistan shows how an old line of hostility is being revived through new tactics, and Afghanistan's assault is part of a broader message being conveyed by Pakistan's adversaries. Pakistan has also raised its concerns on the elements of India-Afghanistan joint statement and remarks by Afghan interim foreign minister visiting India. The Afghan ambassador to Pakistan was conveyed that the reference in joint statement to Jammu and Kashmir as part of India is in clear violation of the relevant UN Security Council resolutions and the legal status of Jammu and Kashmir. The joint statement is highly insensitive to the sacrifices and sentiments of the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir in their just struggle for the right to self-determination. Pakistan also strongly rejected the Afghan interim foreign minister's assertion that the terrorism is Pakistan's internal problem. Pakistan has repeatedly shared details regarding the presence of Fitna al-Khawarij and Fitna al-Hindustan terrorist elements operating from Afghan soil against Pakistan with support from elements within Afghanistan. By deflecting the responsibility of controlling terrorism towards Pakistan cannot absolve the interim Afghan government of its obligations towards ensuring peace and stability in the region and beyond. Therefore, anti-Pakistan nexus between India and Afghanistan demands unity and resolve among people of Pakistan for national defense. Musharraf Zahoor, Pakistan TV, Islamabad.
With the armed forces of the country staying at the forefront in the hours of distress, Pakistani nation has overwhelmingly lauded the swift and decisive response of the Pakistan Army to the provocative actions taken by the Afghan Taliban on the western border. The citizens across the country expressed their full confidence in the armed forces' capability and resolve to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the motherland. The civil and political leaders also united in commending the armed forces for their timely and firm action, reinforcing the message that any aggression will be met with an unwavering response.
دا چې زموږ د پاکستان پاک فوج کوم جواب افغانستان له ورکړی دی ته وایو ان شاء الله دا موږ ټول ملک ته خوستلې ده زموږ انډیا ته هم خوستلې ده او دا داسې کمزوری ملک نه ده چې په موږ باندې به څوک راځي او داسې حملې به کوي انشاءالله د آینده وخت لپاره دا جوابونه موږ ډېر ښایسته ښایسته ورکوو
چې کوم دی نو ډېر غلط کار کړی دی چې په پاکستان باندې حمله کړې ده دوی ته نه دي پکار چې د بل یو ملک چې کوم دی نو د پاکستان د دشمن ملک پرګړتیا وکړي او د هغوی مرسته وکړي د دهشتګرد عناصرو پاکستان چې کوم دی نو د خپلې خاورې دپاره هر چا له جواب ورکولی شي مطلب چې د خپلې خاورې باندې د هغوی خبره راشي نو هغوی هر چا له جواب ورکړی هم دی
یا نمک حرامه دي او داسې نمک حرام سره ټچ شوي دي په انډیا باندې کې خلکو سره ټچ شوي دي او راځي په موږ باندې حیثیت له موږ پیدا کړو خوراک له موږ ورکړو موږ وساتل راځي په موږ حمله کوي.
Now, coming up next is our sports segment with Natalia Bakir. Yes, Natalia, what are the updates from the world of sports?
Well, Ali, we'll start with cricket, of course. Pakistan cricket team all out for 378 runs in their first innings on the second day of first cricket match between Pakistan and South Africa. Pakistan team started the second day with 313 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Earlier, Pakistan won the toss and chose to bat first. Abdullah Shafiq got out after scoring 2 runs. A partnership of 161 runs was established between Imam ul Haq and captain Shan Masood. Shan Masood scored 76 runs and Imam ul Haq scored 93 runs. Babar Azam was out for 23 only and Saud Shakil for no runs. On the other hand, Bangladesh women will face South Africa women today in the 14th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. BTV Sports HD will telecast the match live from 2:30 Pakistan time in Visakhapatnam. Both teams have played their 3-match series, both South Africa 1-2, while Bangladesh managed only to win left 1. Defending champions Australia tops the point table with South Africa is at 4th and Bangladesh women on 6th.
Australia women defeated India by 3 wickets in the 13th match of ICC Women's World Cup 2025 in Visakhapatnam. PTV Sports HD telecast the match live. Earlier batting first, India were bowled out for 330 runs in 48.5 overs. Openers Pratika Rawal and Samriti Mandhana put on a strong 155-run partnership for the first wicket. Mandhana scored 80 runs, including 9 fours and 3 sixes, while Rawal contributed 75 runs with 10 fours and a 6. For Australia, Annabel Sutherland took 5 wickets and Sophie claimed 3. In reply, Australia achieved the target of 331 in 49 overs, losing 7 wickets. Opener Elisa Haley remained top scorer with 142 runs, hitting 21 fours and 3 sixes to lead the chase. Elise Perry stayed unbeaten on 47, while Ashlyn Gardner scored 45 and Phoebe Litchfield added 14, guiding Australia to victory. Sri Charani took 3 wickets for India. Elise Haley declared player of the match for her match-winning performance. Pakistan women's cricket team will play their 4th match of the tournament against England on Wednesday. The national women's team is in full swing for the match. The players practiced in Colombo. Due to rain, the night training season lasted only 2 hours. The cricketers did physical training along with batting, bowling and fielding exercises. The national team has 4 more matches left in the tournament, and after failing in the first 3 matches, they are at the bottom of the points table without any points. At the domestic level, Pakistan Army's team has won gold medal in exercise Patrol 2025 held at Wales, UK from the 3rd to 13th of October. This year, 137 teams from 36 countries participated in the exercise, and out of all these teams, Pakistan Army team led by Captain Mohammad Saad showed exceptional performance in the exercise and was awarded with the gold medal. The exercise was retained its demanding professional standards. Patrols from all across the globe had to move tactically across inhospitable terrain, covering a distance of 60 kilometers within 48 hours, completing specialist tasks in the contested environment. Pakistan Army has always held country's flag high and will keep warring in future as well. Monaco's world number 204, Valentin Vacherot, completed a fairy tale run at Shanghai Masters, rallying from a set down to defeat his cousin, Frenchman Arthur Rentekinech, 4-6, 6-3 and 6-3 in the final, secure his first ATP title. The 26-year-old victory made him the first player from Monaco to win an ATP singles title and set a record as the lowest-ranked player to triumph at an ATP Masters 1000 event. Vacherot had earned a little under $6,000 in career prize money, but lifting the trophy in Shanghai will see him pocket over $1.12 million. Vacherot's remarkable run to the title also means he will be ranked world number 40 on Monday, while Rentekinech, ranked 54th, is set to rise into the top 40.
A wasteful finish to this.
French Open champion Coco Gauff captured her 3rd WTA 1000 title and first in Wuhan after rallying from 2 breaks down in second set to defeat fellow American Jessica Pegula 6-4 and 7-5 final. Gauff, who was making only her 2nd appearance at the Wuhan Open after reaching the semi-finals last year, trailed 0-3 in the second set, but claimed her way back, reducing the deficit to 3-5 before winning 4 straight games to seal victory in straight sets.
And Coco Gauff is the Wuhan Open champion. It's a 3rd WTA 1000 title.
Those were the recent updates from the world of sports. I'm Natalia Bakir, and now back to Ali.
Well, thank you, Natalia. And here we come to an end of our news presentation. For more details and live streaming, do log on to our website, www.pakistantv.com. Follow us on our socials in the name of @Pakistan TV Global. It's a goodbye from my co-anchors, Natalia Bakir, Kanwa Mohyuddin, along with myself, Ali Ahmed, and the entire newsroom team, signing off for now. Hello, you're watching Pakistan TV with the top stories making headlines of the hour. I am Ali Ahmed. Hamas released all 20 living Israeli prisoners as Palestinian prisoners boarded buses in the first such exchange ahead. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif departs for Sharm el-Sheikh on the special invitation of the US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to participate in the peace summit and signing ceremony of a peace agreement aimed at ending the prevailing Gaza situation. US President Donald Trump arrives in Israel before heading for Gaza peace talks in Egypt. Earlier talking to media, he says Gaza war is over. Pakistan condemns Afghan Taliban attacks, vows a strong response and calls on the Taliban regime to crack down on the terrorist elements operating from the Afghan soil while denouncing the cross-border aggression. Pakistan cricket team all out for 378 runs in their first innings on the second day of the first cricket test between Pakistan and South Africa in Lahore. That's all the latest we have for now. For more news, details and updates, log on to our website www.pakistantv.com. Find us on our socials at @Pakistan TV Global. So goodbye for now. Stay tuned for more updates and news.
Do facts matter?
Yes.
Does truth matter?
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, we're talking about India hitting Islamabad.
पाकिस्तान का कोई इलाका और कोई शहर बचा नहीं है.
They have lost 2 JF-17 fighter jets.
Having faced the destruction of 5 of their aircraft,
these are the French-made fighter jets. Pakistan should take pride in the fact that they were able to shoot them down.
I said, that's not good. That's a lot of jets, you know. $150 million planes were shot down.
Facts and truth. From Pakistan to you.
Pakistan TV speaks to the world.
Before the whistle blows, before the final bell, there is a conversation. It's a language understood by every stadium, on every street corner. It's a moment your heart beats with a million others. It's a roar of a crowd, the silence of anticipation. It's a triumphant cry of a champion. It's more than a game, it's a connection.
Pakistan TV speaks to the world.
It's time for Zuhur prayers in Rawalpindi, Islamabad. People in other parts of the country may offer their prayers according to their local timings.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, as we all know, that the Afghan interim foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi is on 6 days India visit. During his visit, to appease India, unfortunately, Afghan Taliban interim foreign minister not only endorsed Indian position on Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, but also made strange remarks that terrorism is Pakistan's internal issue and there is no presence of Fitna al-Kharij or TTP at Afghan soil. This is really strange, but again, it's not only the Afghan interim foreign minister, but also the same endorsed by Zabiullah Mujahid. He is the spokesperson of the interim Afghan authority in Kabul. During a press conference, he said, terrorism is because of Pakistan's own internal issues. The same statement. And then the Afghan interim authority's defense minister, Mullah Yaqub, who is the son of Mullah Umar, initiated an unprovoked aggression against Pakistan. And that was initiated right at the midnight of 11th and 12th of October 2025. Pakistan, in its befitting and hard-hitting but extremely calibrated and calculated response, hit not only Afghan Taliban troops who initiated this aggression from across the border, but also destroyed the hideouts of Fitna al-Kharij TTP and Fitna al-Hindustan BLA, BNA, Majid Brigade and all others across the border inside Afghan territory. It was very much mired counter-terrorism strike Pakistan is conducting against the Taliban forces and their affiliates, the TTP, BLA and all other terrorist proxies who have the strongholds, hideouts and refuge at the Afghan soil. It's not against Afghanistan or its people, but it is against the Indian-sponsored terrorist networks. And unfortunately, the Afghan Taliban are actually supporting these Indian-backed proxies. To talk on this very important subject, we have with us online Ambassador Shahid Kiani. He is the retired ambassador, but very articulated and very experienced diplomat. Thank you very much for joining us online, Ambassador Shahid. Thank you very much for that. Ambassador Shahid, my first question related to that on Afghan interim authorities, especially the hardline Mullah Yaqub's initiated unprovoked attack on Pakistan. And it, during the Afghan interim foreign minister's India visit, who actually endorsed Indian position on Kashmir, unfortunately, and also denied any sort of a presence of terrorist proxies at the Afghan soil. He made these remarks during his visit and Pakistan duly rejected this joint statement by Afghan and Indian foreign ministers. Do you think that it was a deliberate attempt, pre-designed, that during this India visit of the Afghan interim authority foreign minister, Afghan interim authority in Kabul actually initiated this attack to appease India and give a hostile message to Pakistan?
First of all, thank you very much, Faisal. I'm honored to be on your show. When people start showing their surprises or being surprised at what the Afghans have done, let me just give you a little background. You know, the tyranny of geography, that means geographical locations of two countries, is that makes it, forces them, incumbents upon them to have a peaceful coexistence. They should understand the importance of living together peacefully. Pakistan had understood right from day one, but unfortunately, the Afghanistan government, right in 47, opposed us our admission in the UN. I'm not surprised. Then, subsequently, throughout these years, they kept on hammering on the Durand line. And let me just tell you, international law states very clearly that the succession states, that means Pakistan, which came into being, is has states very clearly that this is a closed subject. If you go on the website of State Department, which was the occupation force, or the British government, which was the colonial government, both states that this is a closed subject, and that is something that the Afghan government should have understood. When we started to close down these, for example, put sorry, strengthen the borders just a few years back, they started to make all sorts of noises. Now here comes this was the test of the Afghan government when they were visiting India, which they should have understood our relationship with India, and they should have understood their own relationship with Pakistan. They go.
This news just in. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif arrives in Sharm el-Sheikh. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif arrives in Sharm el-Sheikh. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was received by Egyptian Youth and Sports Minister Dr. Ashraf Sobhi at the airport. The Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is visiting Egypt to attend Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Summit on Gaza. For further details about this, we have been joined by Shabir. Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar and Information Minister Ataullah Taher is accompanying Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. This is a monumental day for the Muslim Ummah, for Pakistan, and especially the people of Palestine. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif arrives in Sharm el-Sheikh. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was received by the Egyptian Youth and Minister Dr. Ashraf at the airport. For further details about this, we have been joined by Shabir Ahmed Wagra. Shabir, can you please apprise us of the latest developments?
As we know, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who early morning left for Sharm el-Sheikh to attend the special summit on the special invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And this after his arrival at Egypt's Minister for Youth and Sports, Dr. Ashraf Sobhi, and Pakistan's ambassador and also senior diplomatic officials, they received Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister during this visit will attend the Sharm el-Sheikh Peace Summit convened to discuss a ceasefire in Gaza. And Deputy Prime Minister and Prime Minister Mohammad Ishaq Dar and Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Taher, they are accompanying the Prime Minister as part of the delegation, and the Prime Minister will also participate in the special signing ceremony of the Gaza Peace Agreement between U.S. President Donald Trump, Egyptian President al-Sisi, Amir of Qatar Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And also, Prime Minister has just sent a tweet as well, in which he hailed President Trump's leadership for ensuring this particular ceasefire peace plan and also signing of this ceasefire agreement. Prime Minister also spoke about Pakistan's effort and Pakistan's consistent stance for supporting peace and stability in Gaza, and also the further developments like two-state solution for a permanent peace and stability not only in Palestine but also in the whole of Middle Eastern region.
Now, Shabir, in your opinion, would it be fair to say that this monumental, historic, landmark peace treaty has been made possible by the pressure from the Muslim countries, especially from Pakistan, by raising this issue on all international platforms?
Pakistan Prime Ministers and Pakistan as a country, the efforts done by Pakistan are recognized by and acknowledged by all the world powers, not only Muslim countries, Arab countries, but also the Western countries, including the United States itself. Time and again, United States President Donald Trump has thanked Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Chief of Army Staff Field Marshal Syed Asam Munir, and for their consistent efforts during the recent weeks and times for ensuring peace and stability in the Gaza, and also for this success of this Gaza peace plan. They acknowledge Pakistan's leadership and their efforts.
Now, what are the measures in place to ensure that this ceasefire, this agreement holds?
Definitely, there are multiple levels of negotiations and upcoming different talks that will ensure the further stability. But first come, first serve, exchange of prisoners and also exchange of hostages that has already taken place. And now the next stage is about permanent ceasefire in Gaza. The next further it would be, as there would be discussions on two-state solution and permanent stability in the region, and also settlement and reconstruction of Gaza, because due to Israeli bombardment, almost all the Gaza is not able to sustain 2 million people. So that reconstruction, rehabilitation, humanitarian aid, all these things will come under discussion in further negotiations that will be taking place, where Hamas, where Israel and also United States, Qatar, Egypt, and these are all other stakeholders, they will take part in it.
Thank you so much for your insight, Shabir Ahmed Wagra. Now, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has arrived in Sharm el-Sheikh on the special invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Fattah al-Sisi. Those were the latest updates. For more, keep watching Pakistan TV. This is Ghanwa Muhyiddin signing off.
Or other terrorist proxies at the Afghan soil. What actually forced Afghan interim foreign minister being in India at the Indian soil, which is actually the Indian position?
India and the Afghan government, I do not know for what reason. I don't want to use some undiplomatic language. I do not know for what reason they have done this. But at the back of their mind, they understand, they know, when we state that these terror organizations have a support of the Indian government and Indian security forces. We understand it. Therefore, to just gain, some sort of support from the Indians, it's an internal matter. People memory is not so weak. We know in the last few years, the Indian consulates all over the border of Pakistan-Afghanistan border were using these consulates to attack Pakistan and to use these proxies to attack Pakistan's sovereignty. They know it, but to gain a support for what? They should have understood India is not your neighbor. Yes, you want to have good relations with them, have them. Nobody should stop you, but do not compromise on principles. And the principle is that these issues like Kashmir, the Indian occupied Kashmir issue, is an issue which is very sacred and close to the people of Pakistan. So therefore, I thought wisdom would prevail, but unfortunately, wisdom is not prevailing, and the Afghan government is now would be in a quandary to explain to us whenever the next dialogue, because this is something which will, in my opinion, the two governments possibly, maybe in a few weeks, will be sitting across the table and talking, because the Afghan government should come on the table and talk and explain as to why these things are happening. It is their making, not ours. We have been telling them for the last many years that put a stop to these people. And now,
Mr. Ambassador, Pakistan is always at the forefront when it comes to peace, stability, and have a dialogue and to come to the table, negotiating table. But unfortunately, we have always welcomed Afghans open-armed. And unfortunately, Afghanistan's response is meager. So how do you think that, to what extent and how long, India and Afghan Taliban interim authority will use these terrorist proxies to achieve their nefarious designs against Pakistan? Do you not think that there must have to be stern action against such entities, or any country or proxy which are actually a threat for the region and for the entire globe, because whatever the UN report, the other reports are actually suggesting, the United Nations Security Council recent reports suggest that there are more than 12,000 of the terrorists actually are residing there in hideouts in Afghanistan, and more than 24 of the terrorist organizations which are the clear threat to the entire world, not only for the region.
You are absolutely right. The Afghans do not understand that we are fighting a war against terrorism, not for us only, but for the whole region, because these people have no faith. These terrorist organizations who have found Afghanistan as their home, the Afghan government, as they say, should have a wake-up call. They should understand what do they want. Ultimately, one day will come when these same 12,000 these terrorist organizations will attack the Afghan government. I'm quite surprised. After having fought a war against occupation forces, now they want to export these terrorist organizations in their nefarious designs on Pakistan, which has suffered in the last. Now, let me just tell you something. These terrorist organizations have been doing this thing since 1979. And terrorist, what you call, incidents happened in our country. So enough is enough. The Afghan government, as I said, should have a wake-up call. If I was an Afghan foreign minister, I would issue a statement saying that, yes, what has happened is unfortunate. We would like to talk to our neighbor Pakistan. Let's hope, as they say, sanity prevails. The other governments which have asked us, I've read this thing, Gulf countries and other countries and Egypt are telling us that we should exercise restraint. We will exercise restraint. Why can't these countries behind the scenes talk to the Afghan government? They don't issue such statements and exercise restraint. Ask your people, ask these terrorist organizations to stop using Afghan territory. Because once we have done it today,
you are absolutely right, Mr. Ambassador, because this is not only the responsibility of Pakistan to exercise restraint, because in the event that happened in May 2025, the limited war with India, at that time as well, our friends were proposing us that exercise restraint. But why not those who initiate these unprovoked aggressions against Pakistan? Why not Afghan Interim Authority? Why not Afghan Taliban? Why not they take action against all these terrorist organizations? Despite of that, Pakistan given lots of proofs to them. So thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for your precious time and online and very candid and very elaborative views. Thank you very much for being online. This is important that world community, the international community must have to think that we are a peace-loving nation. Pakistan is a proponent of peace, stability. Pakistan wants economic connectivity, economic overall regional integration. We believe in that, and that's why the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor was actually initiated. And it was endorsed in Beijing during the trilateral meeting that Pakistan is going to extend this corridor and China is going to extend this corridor to Afghanistan, because we want to bridge Afghanistan with the world. We want to bridge Afghanistan with the Central Asian republics and Central Asian republics with the rest of the world. But it is rest assured that Afghanistan must have to take action, because as Mr. Ambassador said, enough is enough. And this is the time that Afghan Interim Authority must have to think that if they want to have peace in Afghanistan, stability in Afghanistan, they have to get rid of all these terrorist proxies and terrorist organizations who took refuge and getting support out of any movement. And even India is actually supporting these with finances, with abetting, supporting, and even facilitating the training camps in Afghanistan and sending these terrorist proxies to Pakistan to inflict terrorism and all that. So this must have to be taken care, and Pakistan actually responding. This is a very well collaborated, very well calibrated and very well measured counter-terrorism strike, which is happening in Afghanistan because actually Afghan interim authority initiated that aggression, and that's why Pakistan is in defense, and Pakistan has every right to defend its territory. If anyone is going to attack Pakistan, Pakistan will respond, hard-hitting response to them, and Pakistan has been given this response and giving this response. So it is very much important that Afghanistan must have to think about, and Afghan interim authority must have to think about, because the people of Afghanistan are always loving the Pakistan, and they know, they have in their memories that how Pakistan actually supported the Afghan refugees during the wartime and for more than 40 years, and Pakistan actually supported the 4 million Afghan refugees and supported them in every aspect. So we are welcoming here viewers Dr. Sajid Iqbal Khattak. He is the international affairs analyst. Thank you very much, Sajid, Dr. Sajid, for being with us online. My first question to you is that how do you analyze the Afghan interim authority's spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid's accusations that Islamabad hosting the terrorist camps and sending terrorists to Afghanistan, and also said that there is no fitna al-Kharij, and these are the same accusations Zabiullah Mujahid actually labeling on Pakistan what Indian narrative is, while denying any sort of a presence of fitna al-Kharij at their Afghan soil. So how do you see these aspects? Because still they are in illusion, or they are doing it
Thank you, Faisal, for having me. I think this the statement is beyond from reality. And it is quite unfortunate that the two brotherly Islamic states are accusing each other of such, you can say, grave allegations. And unfortunately, we all know that, this Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, they have been in Afghanistan for quite, a long period of time, while there was you can say, an Afghan-led jihad against the international forces. So the same people were there, helping the Afghan Mujahideen against the US and the international forces. So I think, after the Afghan Taliban came into power, so it was a strategic liability upon them that they had to host the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan members there on their soil. Although Pakistan has provided empirical evidences multiple times, even giving them specific locations of the hideouts of the Pakistani Taliban there on their soil. But we all know that they have this strategic partnership, strategic coordination, and it is quite difficult, from operational point of view for the Afghan Taliban to alienate themselves from the Pakistani Taliban. So it is, I think, now a reality, not only in the eyes of the Pakistanis, but in the eyes of the whole world, that TTP is having safe sanctuaries in Afghanistan, and they are actually carrying out activities in Pakistan with the help of the Afghan Taliban. So, this Zabiullah Mujahid accusations that Pakistan is sending terrorists to Afghanistan, I think this is just a shallow statement, because we have not seen any kind of local terrorist activities in Afghanistan that can be linked to Pakistan. And in fact, we are the victims of terrorism for the past 20 or 30 years in Balochistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Our entire social fabric is being, you can say, polluted by this terrorism, and you can say these proxy wars in Pakistan. But at the same time, I would say that this is again very unfortunate, because we are giving a very wrong message to the world, that the Muslim world or the neighborly Muslim states are not united, and we have these kind of some serious kind of problems among us, because we have seen in the case of Gaza conflict that how the world turns a blind eye towards when it comes to the atrocities against the Muslim states or the weaker states. So this should be an eye-opening thing for the whole Muslim Ummah, that instead of you can say doing such dirty politics on issues, instead of
Absolutely, absolutely. This is very important point when you're talking about the dirty politics. So, don't you think that the emerging notion amplified by India right now, India is propagating its Godi media is actually propagating it, that this is a war between Pakistan and Afghanistan, which is entirely false, fake and fabricated, as it's a response to the Afghan Taliban aggression and a made counter-terrorism campaign against the terrorist entities who took refuge at the Afghan soil at the behest of India, Indian-backed, and against their supporters, but particularly because those supporters who are there inside Afghanistan, including the Afghan Interim Authority, not a conflict between the people of Pakistan and the people of Afghanistan, because both countries, the people of Pakistan and Afghanistan, are always loving each other. They know each other well, and we have lots of relations in between. But it's Afghan Interim Authority and their supported terrorist proxies who are actually targeted by the Pakistani brave forces. So how do you see this whole situation in which India is actually exploiting and amplifying such a notion and propagating it? Dr. Sajid, I think so there is some issue with the voice, technical issue. So we are talking about this whole, as Dr. Sajid elaborated, and he said that unfortunately Muslim Ummah has to be united when such a situation arises actually, and we all must have to know that who are the culprits behind it and who are actually fueling such a crack between the two neighborly countries. And this is now, the onus is up to the Afghan Interim Authority, which is not thinking about, as the interim Afghan foreign minister at the Indian soil said, that our basic purpose is, and the basic focus is, our economy. And it is important that we have to. So Dr. Sajid once again joined us. So Dr. Sajid, please carry on.
Thank you, Faisal. Sorry for the interruption due to network issues. I think we should not be having any confusions with respect to India's intentions about instability in Pakistan. And there is, it's very clear that India is involved in Balochistan, in the separatist movement in Balochistan. So India has actually got a chance to have, you can say, enter into Afghan politics again. If I can recall, back in 2002, when the US forces were actually having a decisive victory against the Afghan Taliban, at that time, the United States of America actually wanted to give a greater role to India in Afghanistan. And Pakistan has a legitimate, you can say, concern with respect to this decision of the United States of America. And we had conveyed actually that, you can say, India is our arch rival, and if you give a greater role to India in Afghanistan, that will create problem for us in Pakistan. So the same thing, I think, is now being done by the Afghan Taliban. They are getting closer to India. I think we have no concerns with respect to the independent foreign policy of Afghanistan, but that independent foreign policy of Afghanistan should not be.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Sajid, for being with us online. And Dr. Sajid is very right on that approach, that unfortunately, this is the problem that Pakistan was actually talking a lot about, that there must have to be a responsible withdrawal from Afghanistan when that happened in 2021. And also Pakistan was in favor that there must have to be an inclusive government in Afghanistan, which was not endorsed by many. And although world community wants that there must have to be an inclusive government in Afghanistan, but unfortunately when Taliban took over, and there was a concern from Pakistan that there would be more terrorist attacks in the regional countries, particularly Pakistan is going to suffer with the spillover of the terrorist organizations. And that is the same happening. And I'm so sorry for that. But this is a problem which is existing right now in Afghanistan, and world and the regional countries must have to be concerned about it. And they have to take a stern action, like the Moscow format, which suggests that Afghan interim authority must have to take actions against all those terrorist organizations, particularly Daesh and all others. And in that particular framework, even the regional countries wants to help Afghanistan to tackle this menace of terrorism. But unfortunately, now they are joining hands with those like India, which is a problematic country, problematic state, who is state sponsoring terrorism, not only at the regional level, but also at the global level. And that is a real headache for the regional countries and for the international community as well. And that's the prime reason why the United States is also very much concerned about it. The Five Eyes is concerned about it. The international community, particularly the United Nations Security Council, there are several reports on that, how India is using these proxies, the terrorist proxies against the regional countries. We have joined by Major General retired Dr. Samrez Salek, who is the strategic affairs expert. Thank you very much, General Sahab, for being with us online.
Thank you very much. So nice of you.
Samrez Salek Sahab, you are actually monitoring whole of the situation. You are observing the situation right now. How do you assess the Pakistan's calibrated and very precise response to the Afghan interim authority, the Afghan Taliban's unprovoked aggression against Pakistan, and along with the Pakistan's response to the terrorist entities who have took refuge at Afghan soil, particularly the Fitna al-Kharij TTP and the Fitna al-Hindustan, BLA and all others?
Faisal, thank you very much for getting me in your program. Though it is unfortunate and a bad luck that in year 2025, Pakistan in the month of